always the seasoned vets.
Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your local experts on all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market,
Baseball's
the latest trends, and have a little fun while doing it. We do want to say the opinions voiced on this podcast are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individuals. All right, y'all, we're back with another week of This Week in Real Estate where we are putting the sus in suspense.
That is right. So normally Bryan and I share show notes and talk about what we're going to talk about. And this time I said, I'm going to do the shiny penny, but I'm not telling you what it is. And he said, fine, I'm going to do the pro tip, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. And so the suspense is mounting, and thus it inspired the introduction by producer Trent.
And funny enough, ironically enough, suspense is a dirty word in the mortgage game, because when we send a file to underwriting, if they come back and they're like, I'm not going to turn this down, but I'm going to suspend it. Oh. Your file goes into suspense. That means you got issues.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun. So suspense is a scary word.
So we're going to dive right in. We've got a great show ahead of us. I don't have a clue what's in it, so because the suspense is killing me. But no, Bryan's got some headlines, some pretty big ones, and I do too. So a lot of good stuff there. Other than that, it's been a good week so far. It's been busy. I've been busy. Been real busy, and the brewery's doing well. We're doing a lot of cool things behind the scenes there. They're going to pay off, and then of course real estate. We've got lots of good stuff going. There's some stuff happening, man.
There's like a brew going on, man. There's like a brew going on, and I think it's in a good way.
Yeah.
So ADP came out this morning. If we're going to go into headlines.
Headlines. Never actually seen that. Do you actually have a sound?
It's awesome.
Yeah, okay.
It's really awesome.
Right,
the people watching know.
Okay.
Headlines.
ADP. All right. So last month, the change in U.S. private employment was 208,000. This month it was 192,000, which was over the forecast, but it was less than last year. So interest rates are kind of liking that a little bit. But I wanted to kind of get into some of the nitty gritty of it this month. We don't. A lot of times we just give the high level number and we don't really talk about what the segments of the economy are seeing. So just to quote Nale Richardson, the chief economist at ADP, hiring was broad-based in April. Only the information sector, telecommunications, media, and information technology showed weakness, posting job losses and smallest pace of pay gains since August of 2021.
Say those sectors again.
So that was information sector, telecommunications, media, and information technology.
Okay.
So that was really the only sector that posted job losses and also had the smallest pace of pay gains since August of 2021. So when you're looking at the change in employment by like the business size, small businesses, which are 1 to 19 employees, added 39,000 jobs. Employers with 20 to 49 employees, so still kind of in the small business realm here, actually lost 1,000 jobs. Your mid-size companies, 50 to 249 employees, added 46,000 jobs. So think about that. Your small businesses who have 50 to 249 employees, they got 46,000 jobs in that segment. And so when you hear people talk about small business being the backbone of our nation's economy, like that speaks volumes right there. 46,000 jobs in companies that range from 50 to 249 employees. And the 250 to 499 employees was up 16,000. And then no surprise, if jobs are being added, large companies over 500 employees added 98,000 jobs.
So, I have some thoughts on this, and the first thing that comes to mind is small business adding jobs. Just from my experience, oftentimes that means that there is growth happening in a dynamic, nimble, quick moving environment, and oftentimes that translates into debt. So if that's the case, if we're seeing huge growth in those really small businesses, unless they're cash rich, and a lot of them are not, right. Speaking from experience on that, they're adding debt. So they're adding that debt and they're adding those jobs in a high interest rate environment.
Right.
So that's a little concerning to me. The other thing that really comes to mind is we're in this rate environment now. We've been in it since what, 2022 or whatever, early 2022, yeah. And stuff isn't slowing down.
Well, to me, it says that those companies that are adding jobs, they have the need to. They have
right.
They see growth potential, and so they're willing to even pay a higher interest rate if they're financing that growth, or maybe they have the cash flow to do it, or they don't want to miss out on the opportunity to gain the cash flow.
That's what I'm getting at
from a staffing shortage.
So the current rates are not working.
Right.
Is what I'm getting at.
Right.
If the goal is to pull down inflation, the rates are not working.
Well, that's what the Fed's going to talk about this afternoon, and that's why all these employment numbers, we wonder, why do these employment numbers affect our interest rates? Well, we talk about this
because what do
week.
they mean? Yeah.
Right. So guess which sectors added the most jobs? Let's go to the top two.
Health?
Nope.
Manufacturing?
No.
I don't know. There was my two guesses.
Those are your two guesses. You missed. So the number one was leisure and hospitality. So does that mean people are still traveling and eating out and going?
Honestly, that's even worse news.
Right. And so the number two was construction at 35,000. The two that you guessed, manufacturing was 9,000, and health, it's education and health services, 26,000.
So your top two areas to me are leading indicators of an even more robust.
Yeah.
So it's not working, Fed, is my point.
Don't tell them that too
well,
loudly.
It's not. And here's the thing. I'm more of the mindset of this whole BS idea of this soft landing thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I would be very curious, and I don't even know how you do it because the access to information is completely different. I would be very curious to see the same headlines and the same body of information from like 1979 through 1983. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And are we mirroring the same trajectory as they were then, when all of a sudden rates had to go to 16, 12, 13, 14, 15% in order to pull that hyperinflation down?
Yeah.
Are we tracking that direction? Like, are we repeating ourselves? Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what you're saying? And I'm sure there are some great minds that are studying that. And that's what the Federal Reserve has wanted all along. They did not want to make that same mistake. That's why they have not.
But it's not working, dude. 7%'s not doing it on a mortgage rate.
Even, if you think about it, towards the end of last year, they were starting to kind of think, okay, maybe we can go ahead and do it. And they were like, no, we're holding serve. We're not gonna lower rates yet. Thank goodness they didn't.
Right.
Right.
Whew. Right.
Inflation would be wild if they had. So they're seeing the course, and I think I know you've got some headlines, so I don't want to segue over into market movers just yet. But we do know that they're meeting today, and they're going to release some commentary. Nobody expects them to take any action, but we're going to listen to what they have to say.
Yeah. Well, my headlines are fuel on the fire. Are you ready for this?
Let's roll.
Of course, it's May 1st right now, and so I pulled April's numbers. This is just for Rutherford County, okay? And everybody says it, but Rutherford County is an anomaly, or it's insulated, blah 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 blah. But I don't think that this particular trend set, right? The numbers might be different, but I don't think that the trend is different. So check this out. Are you ready for this? So April over April 2023 to April 2024. This is just on single family homes. New listings during the month of April 2024 versus 2023, down 19%. Last year it was 736 new listings. This year 595 new listings.
Does that include new construction?
Any new MLS listing. Okay. Now, I would love for them, Real Tracks, if you're listening, I would love for them to break this out into new construction versus existing. My guess is, and this is a guess, is that the percentage of new construction to existing homes is tracking up even further. because and as a percentage, not necessarily as a number of units, but the number of units of existing homes is down even further now than it was this time last year. I'm going to guess that the new construction units are holding steady as far as a raw number, but as a percentage, that means that they're tracking up.
Yeah.
Last year this time they were about 55%, first time that it's ever gone over half. Usually it sits at 25 to 30%. I'm going to guess that new construction right now is probably 60 plus, maybe even pushing 70. I don't know, but I have to pull that. New under contracts are up 9%. So what that means is that with less houses available, more of them are under contract. That's crazy, right? So even tighter squeeze on an already shrinking inventory. Active inventory is down slightly, 1%. So this is the number of homes that were active at any point during the month of April. And then closings down 11%. So some of that possibly still is coming out of the seasonality, because obviously that lags, 30 to 90 days back. But here's the kicker. Are you ready for this one? It's not working, Federal Reserve. Okay. And here's how I know. All right. April to April 2023 to April 2024, the average sale price in Rutherford County for a home, any single family home, is up 13% in 1 year. Normal appreciation is 3 to 4%. We've had years recently that are, in the 30s, right? Yeah. Hyperinflation, but we're still up 13%.
So houses that sold, is this the median price, the average price?
This is the average. The median is up 8%.
So from March or February of 2023 to 2024, price is up 13%.
It's April to April.
April to April. So if you were thinking last April, I'm going to wait
it's
until
never
rates
gonna
come down. Guess what? Rates didn't come down, and that house cost 13%
and
more.
it's still, and prices are still going up a lot.
Because in February, the report came out. The month over month from January to February was 1.2%, and that's the highest month over month growth in price since
in like 3 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, and I think
I think it was since 1 year.
It was
since 2022, like April of 2022.
Yes.
It was the highest.
Well, March to April was almost 3% up.
Golly.
So
buckle up.
Listen, the high interest rate environment, what we consider as a high interest rate environment, is not affecting house prices.
Well, that's because you've got so many. There's just fewer houses coming on the market,
and
more people are saying, "I'm home. I am not moving."
Well, yes, they are, but I think they're saying that because they can't afford to.
They can't afford to go anywhere.
And I think that's maybe the unintended consequence here with putting the rates up where they did after having rates as low as they were.
For so long.
That's the problem is, and I said this, you can pull old podcasts from 8-9 years ago, rates were artificially low, and it's going to cause a problem.
Right.
And it has.
Yeah. Because
now you have a situation, and think about this, the majority of most people's wealth is tied up in their home.
Yeah.
Like probably 90+% of the people, the bulk of their net worth is in their house's equity.
Yeah.
Right? So if that's the case, and they're sitting on more equity than they've ever had in their entire life, and they're acquiring more equity into that every single month at a 2% interest rate, or a 3%, or even a 4% interest rate, why in the hell would they ever move?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they certainly wouldn't move into a house that's literally twice as expensive and smaller,
right,
at a rate that's more than twice.
Think about the people
what they're paying.
Think about the retirees who want to downsize. They don't want to have to keep up with the yard. They don't want to upkeep the house that they raised their families in. Now they want to downsize, so they would normally sell, take all the gains from that house, and just have a smaller home or a townhome that they can live in paid for. And, you still see a lot of Del Webb communities moving into the area, but man, like it's tough to even downsize right now.
It's tough to do anything.
Yeah.
And I guess my message here is, if you're waiting for the bubble to burst, or you're waiting for whatever to happen, I don't know what that looks like.
What's going to cause the bubble to burst? Yeah, we've been saying it for a long time. What's the catalyst to make that happen?
So
we can't figure that out.
Here's the thing. Let's go this route. Let's say that all of a sudden rates go back down to 3%. That's what everybody thinks is going to make it happen, right? And we're going to have all these things flood the market, and there's pent up demand to sell and pent up demand to buy, right? And we're going to completely flood the market with listings, and everybody's going to buy, and it's just going to be this fruit basket turnover, right? Let's pretend that happens. Okay, well, let's take that to the next. We still had 13% growth in 1 year with high rate environment. What do you think is going to happen? Maybe we lose 13%. Maybe there's enough activity where that happens. Or maybe there's so much demand because people are selling and they're buying. And then also everybody else is jumping in to buy. Yeah. And so it drives demand up even further. And then what happens?
There's plenty of demand to keep up with that supply boom that you're talking about.
They keep going up.
Yeah, it's just, it's a runaway market.
You're not going to pull... short of something absolutely catastrophic, you're not going to pull house prices down.
They're not going to go back to the threes. I think if we can settle down in the low sixes, high fives, and if we get into the high fives, I think that's when you'll see what you're talking about start to happen. That's all it takes. It doesn't have to go down to the threes for that to happen.
But there is no scenario where house prices
come down. No, there's no scenario where house prices drop. There's two. We can get into population counts and overcrowded and everything. I mean, there's no scenario where prices drop.
No, I mean it would have to be like Dust Bowl level depression over a long period of time.
Right. So congratulations to all the people who bought a house before 2022.
And if you're thinking about it, you better freaking do it.
Yeah.
It's not
unless you're happy
better.
with you. This is what I've been saying to a lot of my clients, my prospects, people who are thinking about making a move. Listen, if you're happy where you are and you're going to be for the next 10 years, maybe longer, then stay put.
That's right.
You're home. Congratulations. You're in a good spot. If you are not, then don't wait, because every month that you wait, it's the market's going to work against you in a couple of different ways.
I can show it to you.
Yeah.
We can plot it out. You can see it in a graph if you want. Well, it was the great philosophers, was it Nickelback, that once said, look at this graph. Oh, no, they said photograph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
you got the Weird Al version of it. Look at this graph.
Look at this graph. Have y'all ever seen that? It's hilarious. Anyway, all right, carry on. Next thing. We've moved it up into the show.
Moved it up in the show.
Let's do this.
Crowd favorite. Yes, this is in fact real. Coming in hot. This one might be my favorite to date. It's a staircase.
It's not the first time I've seen a toilet in a landing, but this was probably the best.
Wait, hang on. This isn't the first time you've seen it. Was that toilet attached?
Yeah. It was a real estate picture years ago, but I've seen something like that before. But I love the way they kind of mask the toilet paper, like with other plants on the windowsill. So like, we're gonna put a toilet paper roll here instead of like attached to the wall, because there's not a lot of wall space where you could reach it. So they're just gonna stick it up there, but kind of.
The plants really are
kind of camouflage it with all those.
This is the ultimate open concept. I mean, if you think about this, let's pretend. Yeah, let's pretend that that the master bedroom is up above this, and that the living room is right below this, right? So you wake up in the morning, you go downstairs and you start cooking breakfast, and your significant other wakes up and has to go to the bathroom, and so you can have a conversation.
Yeah. Talk through the day's plans and activities. Yeah.
Yes, this is in fact real.
And they didn't put carpet. Like, if I would probably have a problem with this if the flooring was carpeted there.
Really, that's your problem with
that's
it?
the only problem.
But at least
what is the
you
blue
clean up
thing?
the mess.
Is it a watering can?
Yeah, that's for the plants.
Oh, I didn't know if that was like a bed urinal thing.
Oh, bedpan?
No, the like one with the little
pan.
cup and the thing, and you.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Well, it is in fact real.
That's beautiful.
That's a first. That's a first for me, not for Brian.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Missy. The lid to the toilet bowl is green.
Well, yeah,
It's a
it's
nice
decorator.
to match the plants,
It's pop of color, right? Isn't that the word?
A pop of color.
Pop.
I need an accent wall right there.
That's incredible. Oh man.
I see what you did there. Oh, fantastic. Okay, market movers.
Market movers. All right, get back. Wake up.
I know. Sorry.
Market movers.
It's you, dude.
All right. So obviously, I think if you're watching this show, that means you follow real estate a little bit. So you know that the Fed is meeting this afternoon. So we'll, we don't expect a decision or a movement on rates. The big thing is going to be their commentary, and I expect that to be a little hawkish. It could be pretty hawkish, depending on the level of hawkishness. It's going to either the market's already kind of baked that in, and we don't expect much of a rate reaction to it, or if it's extremely hawkish, then they may extremely hawkish would mean that they entertain the idea of another increase in interest rates. Then I think there would be a pretty significant market reaction to that. But what we expect is just them to say higher than longer, and you've seen that kind of with rates increasing in the last 2 or 3 weeks. That's kind of what the expectation is going to be. So the market reaction to that would probably be flat.
Interesting.
Later this week, we've got non-farm payrolls. The estimate is 243,000, and the unemployment rate, the current rate, and the forecast is 3.8%. Those are coming out on Friday.
I don't know, man. I don't have a good feeling about all of this stuff. I mean, what's it going to take for them, for us to just say, no, rip this Band-Aid off? Like, what's the rate need to be in order to slow things down? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not working at this current one.
Right.
I don't know. Interesting stuff.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Shiny penny. You're going to love this one.
Hey, this is the suspense.
Are you ready?
This
Let's
is
hear
the
it.
sus part.
This
is very sus.
This is quite sus.
Back to you.
All right. I'm stretching a little bit. Okay. Here's my shiny penny. Lacey played a song for me the other day, and I have adopted this song a little bit as a mantra over the last 10 days. So this has nothing to do with real estate, just so you know. But I think that folks breathe things out into the world, and I feel that you. I've always believed that you tend to create your own luck. Right.
Sure.
Now, sometimes you have opportunities that others don't. Is that luck? Is that positioning? Yes, is the answer to that question. But I also think that people shoot themselves in the foot. And so over the last several days, call it 10 days, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, some information has come to light to me that I just really didn't expect to ever get. Right. And Lacey introduced me to a song by the incomparable Taylor Swift called Karma. Have you heard the song Karma?
Oh yeah.
Man. And her in this song, if you haven't heard it, you should listen to it. I don't care if you like Taylor
believe
Swift.
it's from
or
her
not.
Reputation album.
It might be. I have no idea.
Just saying.
But she's just in this song, she says that she loves Karma. She keeps her side of the street clean. And Karma's a cat sitting in her lap, purring, all of this kind of stuff. Like she loves Karma. Karma's great. But yes, exactly. I heard that too. But you, on the other hand, suck at life.
Not me.
Not you, but the person she's singing to, and is like, yeah, you wouldn't know what that means because Karma's a bitch for you.
Yeah.
Right?
And Taylor Swift can spin a song, man.
Dude, what a fantastic approach to the concept of karma. Yeah. And I here's what I'll tell you. Things always come to the light.
Yeah.
They do. And anyway, so kill him with kindness. That's right. But actually be kind. Don't be fake about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And that's the thing. So anyway, shout out to Taylor Swift. Not that you need another shout out. You really are a pretty incredible human being.
She may retweet this. I don't
You know, here's the thing. I don't
would
have to
really
like your
help our
music,
viewership.
like from a musical standpoint. Like, I'm not going to jam out to Taylor Swift necessarily, but I absolutely respect what you've done with your life and how you've done it and how you've gone about it and the talent that's involved in not just the music, but in the business management and the treatment of people.
It's hard not to have a lot of respect for that.
Well, I think most of the folks that don't are just jealous.
And I will absolutely rock out to some Taylor Swift songs. Now, not all of them.
I might, but I won't tell
there
anybody.
There are some that I will. And I've gotten past the point of shame on that. Or past the
I'm
point
not ashamed.
of awkwardness with it. Like, I will turn on, I can't think of the name of the song, but there's a couple that I will rock out to, man. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Bad Blood, come on. So what happened for me, my paradigm shift with Taylor Swift was when Ryan Adams covered 1989. He was breaking up with Mandy Moore, and Ryan Adams is a good singer-songwriter, and come to find out he's not a great person. But he tweeted at Taylor Swift, "Hey, I'm in a funk from my relationship ending, and I'm just listening to your album 1989. These songs are great. I'm gonna re-record them all in the tune of like the Smiths and just kind of like make my version of your album." And Taylor Swift's like, "Oh my gosh, that'd be great, amazing." So they tweet back and forth a little bit, and so he does it. He records his own version of her album 1989, and it made me listen to those as if like a singer-songwriter wrote them, and the lyrics and what they say, and just
not
like
quite as poppy.
Yeah, it's not quite as poppy. And I heard the lyrics in a different setting and to a different sound, and I was like, those are really thoughtful, like really good lyrics.
She's sharp, dude.
So
she is
that
sharp.
was when it shifted in my mind a little bit, and then when my daughter started kind of getting into Taylor Swift, it was just kind of like, all right, we're all in now.
Yeah, yeah. All right, next. Do you have a shiny penny?
I don't have a shiny penny.
All right. Do you have a pro tip?
I do have a pro tip.
Okay.
Suspense.
Oh, that's right. You do have a pro tip, and I don't.
All right, Brian.
So, pro tip is nowhere near as fun as talking about Taylor Swift, but we'll see where the conversation goes. There continues, we're talking about interest rates and how they're continuing to kind of live in the world that they're going to live in. And that just creates so much value in discount points. So this is not, if you're looking at your second or third home, this is not the market where you bought your first home or your second home, right? This is not your dad's market either, or your parents' market, where they're like, oh, we don't want to pay for discount points. And there's a lot of value in those discount points right now. And I think about a lot of my clients over the last 18 months who felt like rates would be lower in 2024, and they wanted to wait to just do the refi then. And advice had been from me to go ahead and hedge. Don't chase a rate, but hedge a little bit so that if rates don't come down, at least you're not stuck at that par, that market rate at that time, whatever that might have been. And I think, looking back over it, maybe the wiser play would have been to go ahead and chase the rate, but especially the earlier we were in the rise up, right? And so now at this point, if we feel like we're near the top, but the thing is, we don't know how long that line's going to be on the graph. So hedge your interest rate, pay a little bit of money in discount points, buy the rate down a little bit. When if you're wondering what discount points are, it's when you buy the rate down. So if you've heard somebody say, your lender might say, do you want to buy the rate down? Just think of it this way: any interest rate within a range of the current market rates is available to you. So the question is, what do you want to pay to get the rate that you want, and what are you comfortable paying? And you look at the break even, and you could say, hey, the break even for this rate, if you pay this much in discount points, the rate drops to this, it'll save you this much money in monthly payment. Just do a simple equation, division. How many months does it take to break even on the cost of those points? Do you think you will still have this mortgage? Not necessarily do you think you'll own this home, but do you think you'll still have this mortgage within that horizon? And if the answer is yes, then it makes sense to buy the rate down. If the answer is maybe, I think rates will come down, but I don't know for sure when, then maybe hedge a little bit and pay a little bit of discount points. But leave yourself some room for if there's a refinance opportunity down the road.
And here's the thing: everything you just said makes so much sense. But I can devil's advocate literally everything that you just said.
Of course, you can always.
And so, what you really need to make sure, I think we start with this, and that is have somebody that is open-minded enough in your corner that is going to talk to you about your opinions, your fears, your your situation, and be able to say, okay, here's 3 options. You can pay every discount point that you can. You can, like you said, hedge a little bit, or you can pay no discount points. Here's where this one makes sense if you think this way. Yeah. Not you shouldn't think this way or you should think this way, but if you think this way, here's this. If you think this way, do this. If you think this way, do this. And then when you say, well, I really think it's going to be like this, I would say that the next thing is you need to have an honest conversation with somebody that knows more than you about it as to why you think that way. Okay? I really think that interest rates are going to come down within the next 24 months. Okay. Tell me why you think that. Well, because such and such said so. Okay. So let's talk about that, because there's also a possibility of this, and this. Okay. And no matter which one of those you pick, let's have a conversation. Let's educate. Let's talk through it a little bit. Let's validate the feelings that we have, right? Because it's ultimately feelings, right? And then say, okay, now based on that, which of these helps you sleep better?
Well, and sometimes it's a need-based decision rather than that. Sometimes it may not be feelings as much as it is I literally won't be able to afford that payment if I don't get the rate to the hair.
But then the flip side of that is I might not want to pay any at all. If my budget allows me to pay that full payment without paying points, and those points are going to cost me out of pocket $5,000, it might make more sense for me to keep $5,000.
Right. Well, and it might make sense that, or you may not have the $5,000, right? Like your budget might be, I've got $25,000 in my savings account. That's what I've got. And so then it might make more sense for you, like you said, to keep that $5,000 instead of spending it on discount points, to keep that money liquid so that you've got a $5,000 head start on your emergency fund.
Right. And it might make sense for us to try to get a seller to pay those. I mean, there's all kinds of different approaches to this.
So many. Yeah.
And again, I think that key goes back to who's in your corner, who's advising you, who are you listening to, and do they really give a crap about you?
Right. Absolutely. That's what it all comes down to. That's a great way to close the show.
Yeah. All right. Some closing remarks. First of all, big shout out to Philip Byard, right?
Yep. Big shouts to Phil.
Yep. And his company is Music City Hardscapes. Doing some great things around our community, but also helping spread the positive community. So
that's right.
Thank you, Phil. We appreciate you. And speaking of Philip Byard, we have on May 14th, put it on your calendar, a home maintenance class. So if you are the person that is sitting in your place and you're saying, I ain't selling anytime soon, then why don't you learn how to take care of that house just a little bit better and stay on top of things instead of having to go and repair. So what's the whole, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of repair? Is it what's the adage? Something like that?
An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure.
Pound of cure. There you go. Man. I knew it was something like that. So we've got a panel with 4 folks on it. Jim Africano of Affy Pest and Wildlife, Jim Edwards of Preferred Home Inspection, Philip Byard of Music City Hardscapes, and Mike Donovan of Donovan Home Services. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go through a lot of stuff that on the surface you're going to be like, oh, I should already know all this stuff. And quite honestly, if you've owned a home for any length of time, you should already know this. But sometimes you feel like you should know it, and then you're embarrassed to ask it. Well, throw the embarrassment, check it out the door, folks. So we're going to go over some stuff, some really basic stuff and some advanced stuff, and you can ask everything. It's a nest. Right, it's a safe environment for us to ask questions. I'm not going to yell. I'm going to talk like this the whole night.
Smooth voice.
You're in the nest. In the nest.
We were in the trust tree.
In the trust tree. That's it. I love it. All right, that's it. You got anything else?
I don't.
Shakespeare. Shakespeare is Friday. That's going to be a blast. Gallagher Fest is on Saturday. That's going to be a blast.
Guys, if you're in Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, I don't know if the tickets, I hope the show's sold out and this is a moot point, but if you are not familiar with Dan Tominski, do yourself a favor, go to the Walnut House on Saturday. And
he is a man of constant sorrow.
He is a man of constant sorrow. He can play the guitar.
Yes, he can.
And I am pumped to see talent like that come into Murfreesboro. I hope that they can continue.
And in an intimate, beautiful, if you've never seen a show at the Walnut House, dude, it's compact. Yeah. It's beautiful.
So
Yeah.
so when Jonathan says he's a man of constant sorrow, if you think I've never heard of Dan Kaminsky, I guarantee you've probably heard "I'm a Man of Constant Sorrow" from the Oh Brother Heart There movie.
That's him.
That's him. He's singing that song. He's playing
It's
the
not
guitar.
George Clooney. Can you believe that?
And it was
I know.
but no, Dan Kaminsky played in Alison Krauss and Union Station. So his Union Station was Alison Krauss's band. He's an alumni of that band. And the man's just a flat out great musician. He's a good person, and I can't wait to. It's birthday weekend for us. I'm not going, but I can't wait to hear some reviews on the show.
Great.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there either. But anyway, we are going to have a presence there with Cedar Glade. Jeremy's going to be there, so it's going to be awesome. That's it. Anything else, Trent?
No, that's it. Appreciate
Missy?
you. Happy
Happy May.
It's gonna be May. Yep.
Cammy, you got anything?
No.
All right. That's it. See you guys later.
Thank you for listening to another episode of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your go-to resource for all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We will see y'all on the next one.
Now for the nitty-gritty. Primis Mortgage Company is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC. Primis Mortgage NMLS number 1894879, BK number 1042893, ML number 1894879. As always, all loans are subject to credit approval and product guidelines. Equal housing lender.